Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Web Development and Design Information Session from UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. Today we'll be giving you information on the Web Development Certificate Program starting in January, and also information on the Web Design Professional Concentration Program, which starts later in 2020. Let's go through our agenda for the morning. We're going to tell you about the Web Development Certificate Program first, then go into the Web Design Professional Concentration. What are the career trends in this area? What's the job outlook and the job prospects for these two programs? We'll tell you about some program discounts, show you how to finance your education, and there'll be a question and answer session at the end. But we also encourage you to ask questions via the chat room at any time. So let's do some introductions. I'm John Dolan. I'm a public education specialist with UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education.
And I'm Lynette Velasco, and I work with John on this program as a program administrator.
Also in the meeting is Bill Mead. Bill is a top area instructor and mentor in the web development and design world. Bill, thanks for being on the call. Thanks for being on the call, Bill.
Great to be here. Thanks for including me.
So we wanted to introduce a little bit about us here at UC Davis Division of Continuing and Professional Education. So we're the lifelong learning arm of UC Davis, and our mission is to provide learning opportunities for people in the region and abroad to transform their lives. And what we mean by this is that our programs help people to reskill, upskill, change careers, and just really gain the tools and the knowledge to transform their lives through our education programs. And what we mean, our audience typically is targeting professionals, working professionals, or career changers. So our programs are for those who, you're already working in your position and you may need to acquire some new skills or a bit of training to get a different position and move up, and that's what we aim to provide here at UC Davis Continuing Professional Education. And so here there's just some statistics on our long tradition of success and service to the Northern California region and beyond. So we've had nearly 62,000 annual enrollments, as you can see here, and we offer over 3,000 courses, which can be classroom courses, training, workshop courses, and online courses as well. And so, as I mentioned earlier, we not only serve the Sacramento region, Northern California, but all of the states as well. We have students from all over, and we also have students from many different countries all around the world as well. And we've actually been around almost as long as the university itself. So we have over 50 years of service to the world, essentially. And so here's a little bit of an overview on the Web Development Certificate Program. All of our courses are online, 100% online, so there's no physical attendance required for any of these courses. And they're all instructor-led, so these are not self-paced courses or self-directed study courses. There's instructors in the courses who will be grading and will be there to help with anything you need in the course. And so this program basically teaches you the foundational skills in web development, and the program is made up of 5 courses, which totals 15 units, so there are 3 units each. And each course is $825, which is the standard tuition rate. And all of the courses carry academic credit. So that means that these courses were approved by the UC Davis School of Engineering through the Computer Science Department And that means that if you were to consider transferring courses into possibly a bachelor's program or a master's program even, these courses would be eligible for that since they are academic. And so here we're just sharing a little bit of what you'd be using in the program. Currently, with this information session, we're using Zoom. And so Zoom is used by instructors who, like Bill, who have weekly sessions and can talk to students live. So that's just the basically to simulate the classroom experience. And we also use Canvas as our learning management system tool. So that's where all of the coursework will live, and that's where you would be turning in assignments and all of that.
Okay, thanks, Lynette. Bill Mead, we have a first question for you. And the question is, what opportunities would there be for someone like me who doesn't have much of a technology background? Would I be okay in enrolling in the certificate program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of opportunity in this field to sort of learn and develop. The web program is kind of the gateway to programming and technology, which is often kind of one of the best paths to getting a great job that's going to pay really well. I've had a lot of students over the years who come into the web design field without any coding experience at all, and with some effort and some hard work, they can really kind of develop those skills that are necessary to go out and get those jobs. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Great, thanks, Bill. So let's go over the key learning objectives for the Web Development Certificate Program. You know, pretty straightforward. You're going to gain an understanding and hands-on experience with the current technologies and languages. This area changes a lot. New technologies come on board all the time, so you're going to develop a capacity and understanding to keep pace with these changes. And as important as a technical front, you're going to build non-technical skills to work in a collaborative environment, communicate with stakeholders, and finally create a portfolio of your work. And we'll talk about this a little bit more, but essentially we want you to end this certificate with the skill set and a portfolio that you can show current or future employers. And really a skills-based certificate program that we have in place for you. And our objective here really is to get you into the world of being a full stack developer. That's an academic objective for the program. And what that means is there's 3 areas of concentration: the front end work, working with that database, and doing the back end work. That's what a full stack developer looks at. And then, you know, obviously you can specialize in any of those areas as well, but we want to give you the skills and tools to go out as a front end or full stack developer, and then choose a pathway that fits your style and your curriculum. So 5 courses in the certificate program. These are the required courses: creating functional website, web programming with JavaScript, server-side scripting with PHP, sometimes called personal homepage. There's a database design, development, and management course, and then creating web applications with Ajax. Let's start peeling into each of these courses. So creating functional websites. So this is the opening course. And I'll say that in addition to the coursework and material, there's probably 4 to 8 hours per week of study as well. So as you're scheduling out your time to succeed in this class, plan on that. You know, it depends on the learner and where you are in the course and how challenging the course is. But, you know, keep in mind that there's an additional 4 to 8 hours of coursework as well. So creating functional websites, this is the basics of the language of the internet. We're going to show you how to code in hypertext markup language. You're going to build a basic web page, and that's really sort of an exciting development. You're actually going to, build a static web page, see how it looks, what's the design elements around it, what's the purpose, what's the function around that, and you're going to be doing that in this first course. You're going to understand some core fundamentals, such as lists and menus and hyperlinks, forms, images, tables. And then you're going to explore the production process, which means, how do I actually get this so that other people can see it and interact with me on that. So that's the creating the functional website course. Again, it's the core course, and it starts introducing you to the foundations of the basics of the language of the internet. A second course is web programming with JavaScript. So there are many different programming languages out there. And why are we starting on JavaScript? Well, JavaScript is by far the #1 hard skill still required in the world for web development and web programming. So we really want you to start understanding JavaScript at an early stage. And JavaScript is like any other language. You've got to use it and learn and practice it to get better with it. JavaScript does change. And as we introduce you to JavaScript, there's momentum around you to do further practice and further study in learning this programming language. So with JavaScript, you're going to create dynamic content in web pages. So the first course, that was more static. So now we're looking at dynamic content in web pages. You're going to learn and practice coding in web programming. What are the mechanics, and how do you demonstrate the mechanics of working with things like JS, which includes looping, functions, form processing, things like that. You're going to learn JavaScript debugging techniques, and you're going to be also introduced to things like what is good code, and what does that mean to write good code in terms of the downstream effects of that. Anyone can write code, but what you have to be able to understand is writing code so that not only can you use it later, but then other members of your team can interact with the code that you've written as well. And again, as Bill said, no programming background is required for this JavaScript course. Next class is the server-side scripting with personal homepage. So here we're taking our dynamic page then, and we're going to connect it to a database, right? And the database is a core area in this field, and the database will have its own set of elements, but the core function here is understanding how you link that to a database. You're going to understand how to work and express with server-based files. What are the PHP functions? What are regular expressions in the PHP world? You're going to start drawing some dynamic graphics, right? So doing some visualization on how the graphics should look. And then you're going to understand how to work with your syndication web services. So that means, what do I do with this now? How do I actually get that up on the web? What's the best pathway for that? Your next course then is going to be database design, development, and management. And this is a very core foundation course. So this is the basics of modern database terminology, architecture, design, and creation. So again, we're moving from kind of a front-end look to a database, and now we're starting to understand, what we're going to do with that database. So the terminology, you'll get an introduction to basic web architecture, the creation of such architecture. Then what's the logical data models, and how do we construct those data models to meet specific data requirements? And then you'll code simple SQL statements to create and retrieve, update, and delete values in these databases. So SQL is another tool that you'll be interacting with, and SQL goes in and works with that database to retrieve, collate, update, and delete in that specific database. The next course is going to be the Creating Web Applications with Ajax. Ajax is Asynchronous, JavaScript, and XML. That's what Ajax stands for. And here we're putting it all together, right? Where this is where we're saying, okay, I've gotten through these courses, and what's next? So you're going to be combining these core elements of XML, CSS, JavaScript, and server-side scripting. So you're going to be creating a highly interactive page without having that page reload all the time. If you've been in some of the older web pages that haven't been updated, it's like, why isn't this page reloading? I click. Well, we're going to show you why it's not reloading and show you the correct pathway for how to reload that page. And then this is our capstone course too. This is a portfolio course where you'll actually do a project, and you'll work with your instructor to develop the business rationale for that product, for that project. What's the intent behind it? What's the value proposition behind that project? And you'll work to finish that project. And that will become your first your first foundation for your portfolio. In this portfolio, we ask that you keep that, and then you have the opportunity to show, again, current or future employers, hey, this is what I did. I just took this certificate program from UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. Let me show you the results. Let me show you what I learned. That's what the portfolio is about.
And so now I wanted to talk a little bit about the web development fast track enrollment option. So this is one of the options which is for the entire certificate program. So you would be completing the program in 12 months. And the purpose of this is students would be paying the entire cost of the tuition for the certificate program at once, but it would be coming at a 15% discount through this enrollment option. And in addition, the $125 certificate program candidacy fee is waived, and students in this enrollment option would be receiving priority for enrollment in all the courses in the certificate. So we make sure that you are enrolled in all of the courses in the certificate, and your path is set to complete the program within 12 months. Just please note that students in this enrollment option are not allowed to alter their course path, their course schedule, since that is predetermined and pre-programmed by the program staff. You have to commit to the schedule that we set up. If students want to enroll at their own pace and take courses on their own, they're welcome to do so as well.
Bill, Lynette's going to talk about the web design professional concentration. She'll get into that in just a second, but can you just tell us what's the difference between the web design concentration and the web development certificate program? So in the web design concentration, what are the learners preparing themselves for?
The web design concentration includes more courses that are about design, whereas the web certificate is much more about the technology of learning the languages and writing the code to create the pages. So in the web design program, you'll take courses like the UX UI course. It's a very popular field these days, big growth field, as well as get into more design sides of the web.
Great, thanks.
So for the web design professional concentration that we offer, this is similar to the certificate program, except as you can see, there's only 4 courses required. So it's a total of 12 units. Again, just like the web development certificate program, each of the courses are 3 units. So that's where the 12 units total comes. And once again, just like the web development certificate program, all of these courses are approved by the UC Davis, the main campus, the computer science department, and all carry academic credit. So the required courses for the concentration include the Creating Functional Websites course, the Web Programming with JavaScript course, which are also required courses for the Development Certificate program, But the two different courses that are specific and unique to the design concentration are web design and production and user interaction design for the web, which is the course that Bill Mead teaches. So the web design and production course focuses on the best practices for website production, which includes the theories behind this as well. And the purpose of this course is to help give the student an understanding of responsive web design. So this is building off of the knowledge and the practice that the student had in the Creating Functional Websites course, which is the HTML, CSS course. So this is taking all of that and putting it into responsive web design. And this focuses on the front end design and development. So as John mentioned earlier, that there's multiple aspects in web development, which includes the back end as well. So this would be the front end piece. And then finally, the last course in this concentration is the user interaction design for the web course. And in this course, the user design concepts are for web and mobile applications. And students will be creating their own prototype, which again can be used as a portfolio piece to show employers. And this course is online in Canvas, our learning management system. But what's unique about this course is that there are synchronous sessions using Zoom, which we are currently using to broadcast this information session.
Hey, Bill, some of the projects that I've seen when I've attended the showcases and seen the projects upon graduation have been very, very interesting. Someone did like a app-based weightlifting course. There was one project that looked at a different design for professional wrestling. There was one that just had a retail look vision to it. Are there any projects that stand out for you?
Yeah, students have created some great projects. You know, we get a real opportunity to kind of dive into some of the different areas or different sort of genres of websites, and then students get an opportunity to sort of look at how they could design something that would be unique and interesting for a very specific audience that they could build and design for that particular genre of website. Mm-hmm. You know, we look at things like museums, we look at healthcare, we look at education, you know, all these different areas. Everybody needs to have a presence on the web and is really looking to make their particular company stand out or their organization stand out. So, you know, it's great for people who are interested in photography, people are interested in illustration, people are interested in other creative areas to sort of look at how you could design experiences for the web.
Thanks, Bill.
And so here are the upcoming courses for the winter quarter for the web, for the web design concentration or for the web development certificate program. So this would be for those of you who are interested in getting started in the winter. There are other courses that we have running, but those courses have prerequisites. The prerequisite being the Creating Functional Websites course. So that's why we don't have it listed. But you can always go to our website and see which courses are open for enrollment. But again, as a reminder, most of the courses have a prerequisite of creating functional websites. So as you can see, the courses begin on January 15th, and this also includes for the web development fast track option that also will begin on January 15th with the Creating Functional Websites as the first course in the series. And you can also see there the costs associated with those enrollment options. And again, this information can be found on our website.
So why do we offer this certificate program and this concentration program? So one of my job's responsibilities as a public education specialist is to ensure that our programs are matching up with the needs of the market, the core needs that an employer is looking for. So I spent a lot of time going into the Sacramento area and talking with studios and talking with public and private sector people who are hiring web developers, who are hiring front-end developers, finding out, hey, if this person knows JavaScript, is that helpful? If they understand CSS, if they understand PHP, and we go through our courses through an advisory committee, and they give us core feedback. That gives us an opportunity to amend our courses to really meet the needs of today's employers. But this area is just booming right now. The demands for web and IT jobs is growing, and I'll say that once you get into this field, you'll be tapped on the shoulder from a recruiter, because the first thing that someone will say is, you know, once you have some experience in this, you can move up and move around fairly fast. The salary range, for instance, for a front-end web developer starts at about $65,000, going up, depending on your skill level, again, up to about $130,000. That's an increase of 6% just from last year. The database developer, again, that salary range is remarkable in terms of an average salary. And again, that's net increase of about 5% from last year. And then the overall software developer has a salary range up to $166,000. And that's an increase of almost 5% from last year. So the jobs are there, the salaries are there. Now you just got to get the education. So the programs are geared around technical skills, right? And the top technical skills that you'll learn in this include SQL, JavaScript, which, as I've said before, is the #1 hard skill in the world for web development. The language Python. Then on the PHP, there's Hadoop, Apache Spark, and Angular. And then the visualizations includes things like AWS, Amazon Web Services, a few other things. So when you look at the technical skills associated with actually job postings, these are the technical skills that come to the forefront. And these are the things that you'll learn and get trained on in our certificate program. Okay, what's happening actually in the Sacramento area? Again, I spend a lot of time coursing through this, talking to employers, using some research methodologies to come up with what are the jobs right now. Well, right now, as of yesterday morning, there are 994 jobs listed just in the core Sacramento area with web developer as a job title. This is an increase of 85% just in the last 18 months. And these jobs have skills connected to them. What are the requirements for getting a job like this? And again, it's front-end developer, it's JavaScript, it's CSS, cascading style sheets, HTML, and then Java programming language, which is different from JavaScript programming language. Then your top occupations in this field are listed as things like software developers and software applications. Booming field right now in the Sacramento area, and as Sacramento becomes more and more of a tech hub, as the public sector in particular turns to more technology-generated initiatives, the need for front-end developers and web developers will be growing. Here are the type of positions you'll see in the area if you go to Indeed.com. If you go to any of the other ones, you'll see things like front-end developer and like a webmaster or programmer 1. And the responsibilities for a front-end developer, pretty straightforward. You'll be working with engineers and developers to design and code UI or user interfaces. And the skills needed for that are computer science, education, software engineering, or similar mastery of JavaScript, jQuery, HTML, and CSS. So again, what our certificate program is doing is giving you the foundational skills so that you can look for the core front-end developer positions that are currently listed in the Sacramento area. The Webmaster Programmer one, very similar in terms of required skills. The big difference is you're more doing things like page layouts, PowerShell scripting. And the reason we're giving you this is that these are actual responsibilities, qualifications, and skills that you'll see on recent postings, job postings in the area.
And now I wanted to share some information about discounts offered for these courses. So first, there's a $50 off Cal Aggie Alumni Association discount applicable to any of the courses. And for this, you do not have to actually be an alumni of UC Davis. So this membership is offered to affiliates as well. So you can just sign up for that membership and then you'd be able to apply this discount. There is a 10% off group of 3 or more discount. So what this is for employers who want to send a group of people through a program. This 10% discount is applicable to all the courses of that group's enrollment. And of course, the 15% off fast track discount, as mentioned earlier, associated with the fast track enrollment. And then just for attending this information session, we'll be following up with the attendees to offer them a $100 off discount code, again, applicable to any one course enrollment. And just please note that discounts are not stackable, so they cannot be combined for one course. It's one discount per course enrollment. And then here's some information for students who are looking to finance their education through student loans or through specific state organization funding or military related funding. Here we have Tina Erke and Debbie Sellers who work with our student services team, and their contact information above. They're the ones you would contact if you're looking to secure a specific type of funding for this program, and they'll help you through with getting your enrollment and your payment through in the program. And then finally, if anyone has questions, please let us know right now and we'll be happy to answer them.
Bill, one question came through around opportunities actually in the Sacramento area. I was pretty general in terms of what I saw in the area, but based on your experience and the graduates that you've worked with, what do we have? Do we have opportunities both in the public and private sector? It seems like any group that wants a web presence is going to be looking for employees in this area. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, there's a lot in both the public and private sector. You can get hired by the state. There's a lot of web developer jobs within the state, within state agencies. To get hired there, you need to do the state tests and sort of jump through their hoops. But I've had a number of students who do that, who have done that and have done really well there and are working at that level. Plus, there's a lot of startups, there's a lot of agencies, there's a lot of local companies that have in-house design teams that are looking to hire people. Just this summer, I had one of my graduates get hired at the California Restaurant Association as their web developer, and they're currently looking to hire more people. So there's just tons of opportunity around Sacramento right now. Right.
We were talking to one graduate or two graduates who actually went to work for SMUD, and boy, you talk about a stepping stone into a great organization. And goodness gracious, UC Davis is hiring too web developers, so don't forget about us.
Yep.
So here we have a question from Sean asking, can you get both certificates? Do the two design courses count towards the web development certificate? And so to answer that question, yes, the courses for the web development certificate are applicable to the web design concentration. So if you were looking to get both, you would be taking a total of 7 courses. We would not make you repeat the courses for the concentration. And another question here, are the class sessions held in a real-time format, asynchronous, or a mix of the two? So all the courses are held online. There is no real-time attendance format. The majority of the courses, they require that assignments and quizzes and all of that is due on a weekly basis. So that is the only sort of scheduled time that you would need to make, is just be aware of the assignment deadlines. But Bill, your course, you use Zoom to hold the asynchronous sessions. So could you speak a little bit more about that, since your course is unique that has that?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So in the UX UI course, we're doing a lot of design and critique. And for critique to work well, you really need to have sort of the synchronous time to look at projects together, to share the projects together. And this works very well on Zoom. Students can be sharing their screens, and we can be talking about the work that they're working on, talking about it in process. Design always gets better with revision. So a big part of that process is looking at your design, getting a fresh pair of eyes on it from your classmates and from me, and sort of and looking at it and saying, okay, these are areas you need to work on, these are areas you need to improve. So the synchronous sessions for the UX UI course are really critical. It's really the part of the course that makes it a great course.
Thanks, Bill. And then here we have a question from Mark asking, if I have CS experience, C, C++, and Python, but no web experience, what languages or libraries should I learn?
I'll take that one. So the basic languages of the web are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the things that the browser understands. It doesn't matter what other technologies are generating websites. What the browser sees is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Whether that's coming out of WordPress or Drupal or a .NET site or some other system, all of it comes down to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So the better you can get at understanding those core languages, the more, the better you'll be going into working with whatever systems or platforms or other tools that you might be working with. If you get hired at UC Davis, you'll probably be working with Drupal. If you get hired at a smaller agency, you'll probably be working with WordPress. But all of these systems are not that hard to learn if you have sort of a lot of experience with those main core languages that we're teaching in this program.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bill. And so the last question is an administrative one for us. Will there be a recording of this session? And the answer is yes. We'll be getting a recording of this on our website by the end of the week, I would estimate. And it will also be on YouTube. So you can feel free to check back on our website by the end of the week to see this recorded session posted there as well. So that's it for us. That's it for us for this information session.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone attending. Bill Mead, I appreciate your input and thoughtful answers.
No problem. Happy to be here.
All right, so that's it for us. Thank you again for attending, and thank you again, Bill, for speaking with us.
Have a good day, everyone. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.